Tower People's Choice Top 100 Games of All Time. Dice Tower People's Choice Top 100 Games of All Time.
Alright, here we go. It's time for another top 10 list or top 100 section. We're now doing numbers 11 through 20. In case you haven't got this, this is the People's Choice. Over 1,000, no, I guess just shy of 1,000 people voted in this, telling me their top 20 games. We put them together and came up with the top 100 list. But these are the second best 10 group, I guess. Next week we'll start into the top 10. But here we go from 11 to 20. All really good games, and a few of them were in my top 20. So can't argue that. All right, let's start with number 20 is Thunderstone. Now, Thunderstone is a...
Number 20, Thunderstone.
Thunderstone is a game that really I guess I'm surprised to see it so high in this list because it was the first major deck building game to come out after Dominion. And a lot of people like Thunderstone, and a lot of people like the Dungeon Crawl aspect, but I didn't think it was enough to make it this high on the list. But I'm glad to see that it is. Obviously, piles of expansions are being released for it, so it must be successful. So Thunderstone, I think at this point in time, and especially since I know a little bit about the future of Thunderstone, has taken a much divergent path from Dominion, and I'm really looking forward to see how that changes as time goes by. Thunderstone.
Number 19, Twilight Imperium 3.
Twilight Imperium 3. It's a huge epic space game, and I think anybody who's ever played it has come out of the experience, at least they might have liked it, they might not have liked it, but at least they came out of it knowing that they've played an epic game. It has everything, Axis and Allies type battles to political intrigue. With the expansion, there's so many different races to pick from, all with their own diverse technology. The newest expansion came out this year, maybe that has something to do with it, but I can see easily how this one gets the top spot. Twilight Imperium 3.
Number 18, Le Havre.
Le Havre. Again, this is another one that I'm surprised at. Now, I love Le Havre. I really think it's a great game, but I didn't know that as many people enjoyed it as do, especially since, you know, it's not so widespread. And it really slows down with more than 3 players. But with 2 or 3 players, it is a great game. Buying resources and selling those resources and using different shops. It felt like Agricola, but a better version. A version where there's always good things to do. But maybe for you not as popular as Agricola. We'll wait and see. Le Havre.
Number 17, Stone Age.
Of all the games I'm talking about today, this is the only one that is also not on my top 100 list, and that is Stone Age. But I cannot deny how easy and fun Stone Age is to get into. It's your typical Euro game where you're getting in and buying resources and using those resources to build huts or buy cards that give you special abilities. But the concept's simple, and the idea of rolling dice to get your food and get your resources using a special leather dice cup. It's a really simple game in essence, but it has a lot of replayability. And it's one of those games that a lot of people can get into. The theme is a little different than most of the games, and it's still on my shelf. I can see it right over there because it's the kind of game that I know I can get new players to play, and that's Stone Age.
Number 16, Twilight Struggle.
Twilight Struggle. This is one of the closest games that you have in your list, position-wise, to mine. It was number 18 on my own list. And when it came out, it made a big buzz because it was about the Cold War. It was a new game from Twilight, from GMT. But as time went by, it slowly became more and more accepted by not just the war game crowd, but the Eurogamers started liking it. And as people played it, they looked at it. It looked complex. It looked like your typical war game, but it's not. It's more of an area control game, but wow, does it present the theme in a way that people really like it. doesn't do it in a propaganda sort of way. I mean, yeah, there's propaganda in the game, but it's on both sides, and it just feels like a very interesting back and forth struggle between these two superpowers over the course of several years. Twilight Struggle.
15, Memoir 44.
Memoir 44. The definitive World War II game. Oh, yes, I know. A lot of people will yell at me about that because they'll insist that that's not true. But you know what? Memoir 44 is probably being played more than every other war game in existence put together right now. Because it's just that popular. Everywhere I go, at conventions and other places, I'm seeing people play it. I talk to people about it. It's a simple game that you can pull out. You can play with 2 people or 8 people. I guess you can play with, somewhere in between, but it works best with 2 people or 8 people, and it just does an amazing job. And Days of Wonder keeps releasing great new expansions for it. The Western expansion, the Pacific expansion, the Mediterranean expansion, campaign books, and it's so simple to set up and take down. I mean, we're talking 5 minutes to set these things up and play through a battle, and you really feel like you fought a battle. So I'm glad that a lot of you like that game, Memoir 44.
Number 14, Cosmic Encounter.
Cosmic Encounter. You may have heard that I like this game. But one of the things I like about Cosmic Encounter is that when I bring it into a group setting, or when I talk to my game groups where I go and I say, do you want to play it? There are always people willing to play it. I like how this is an old game, although it did have a new republishing lately, but it's an older game, and yet it still is going strong in the midst of this just massive outpouring of new stuff. All the other games on my list are not old games, but this one's older and it still stays strong. Cosmic Encounter, the game that's totally unbalanced by having aliens with all kinds of weird powers, putting them together, and just a really fun atmosphere. So I'm really glad you guys like one of my favorite games, Cosmic Encounter.
Number 13, Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica. When we heard about it coming out, I remember everyone talking about, whoa, it's going to have traitors, and it's Battlestar Galactica! And it has traitors, and it's going to be like Shadows over Camelot. Well, ultimately, Shadows over Camelot is a much easier, simpler game for people to get into. Battlestar Galactica just has layers and layers of theme and lots of text and different things, and yet people love it because there are very few games on Earth that give the feeling that Battlestar Galactica does. That whole who is a traitor, who is a Cylon, who is coming after me type theme. And Battlestar Galactica with 2 expansions out now, neither of which really is necessary for the game to be awesome. But still, a lot of people enjoy either or both, at least parts of them. So check it out, Battlestar Galactica.
Number 12, Small World.
Small World, a game that made all 3 of our top lists, yours, mine, and Melody's. And I can see why, because it appeals to all ages, to young kids, to adults, to diehard gamers, to people who just love playing games in general. With Small World Underground coming out this year, I think it got a boost, although there's already, I think, 3 or 4 other expansions for Small World. The simplicity of the game, all the things that can be added for it, they're just, I constantly seeing it being pulled out and being played by folks, and it really scales well from 2 to 5 players. So, not surprised to see it on your list. Great choice, Small World.
Number 11, Carcassonne.
Carcassonne. Over a decade after Carcassonne has been released, it is still as popular as ever. People say, yet another Carcassonne expansion. And maybe there is too many Carcassonne expansions, but you know what? They wouldn't keep releasing these if people wouldn't keep playing the game. The whole concept of putting a tile down and connecting a city, there's been a few other games that have done that, but not that many. I wonder why that is. I mean, is the concept burned out, or did Carcassonne just do it in such a cool way that no other game has ever been able to replicate that and do it better? I don't know. It could be any of those. But with all the expansions out for Carcassonne and just the simplicity and ease, and it's one of those gateway games, the Settlers of Catan, Carcassonne, Ticket to Ride trio that we often talk about, now maybe adding a few other games to that, but they just all work really well. And that's about it for this time, ladies and gentlemen. We got 10 more games to go. We're going to do 5 next week. Ooh. Numbers 10 through 6. The week after that, we'll do numbers 5 through 1. What are your top 10 games? I'm guessing you can probably guess them at this point in time, but we'll have to wait and see. Either way, check out my top 100 list, check out Melody's top 100 list, and check out our website, Dicetower.com, for tons of reviews, lots of stuff going on. A podcast network with some really great audio podcasts. Really enough gaming information to fill you for the whole week long. Have fun gaming. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
And I'm Holly Vassell. And I'm Barley Vassell.
See you next time.
Number 15, Memoir.
Memoir 44. Number 15, Memoir 44.
Number 15, Memoir 54.
44.
Go. You guys go away. Please. You guys go away. Please.
Who do you want to go away?
Those guys.
But that's us.
Father, you go away.
You want us to go away?
No. Those guys go away.
Those are us. That's you, that's me.
I'm getting away.
Oh, you're leaving? All right.
Bye-bye.